Welcome to a There It Is podcast mini episode, a comedy podcast to help you find your inspiration with a quick tip. I'm your host, Jason Farr. Let's do this. Thanks so much for giving us a listen today. This is mini episode number 35, which means we have 34 other mini episodes, which are all in the feed. Give those a listen. Today's topic is pre-show rituals. And by that, I mean things to do to get ready for a show. A little routine you could do to get your mind and body ready. If you aren't currently doing anything on a regular basis before a show, then you might be doing a soft version of some of these things. I wouldn't be surprised if the most common thing performers do is something that gets their head in the right space to perform. And that might be something as simple as just chilling and talking to people, talking to your friends, talking to the other performers. And for others, it might be poring over scripts or the jokes you plan to do for your set. And this episode is about being more intentional before a show to get yourself ready to perform. I'm going to start off with talking about the mind. Here's some things you can do for the mind. And one, and I've talked about this a ton on the podcast, is meditate. Meditating has been so helpful for me. I do it before improv shows, and it never fails me. I always have what I feel like is my strongest show. I'm doing the sort of stuff I want to be doing. It just clears my head. I guess you could say it clears my head of brain fog, but I feel more centered and present. And it always results in me being very present in my scenes and very grounded. So I love meditating before an improv show. I strongly suggest you doing it as well. And we also know there are famous people who meditate a ton. Jerry Seinfeld has talked a ton about meditating. It's working for him, so it could work for you too. Another thing, if you are an improv nerd, as I am, you maybe have seen TJ and Dave's documentary, Trust Us, This Is All Made Up. And one thing they do in their routine is they'll go somewhere and observe the world together. They just sort of sit on a bench and talk with each other and talk about what they're seeing. And then they go their separate ways and they don't know what the other does, but they observe the world before a show. And it's a very good idea to observe the world. Notice what people are doing. You can pick up on things. You have to really notice things when you're performing because you are reading other people, whether you are acting in something or doing stand-up in front of a crowd. You have to read things clearly, and observing the world helps get your mind ready for that. Another thing you can do before a show to help clear your head is go for a walk. I know of a couple of comics of repute who tour a lot, who will go for a walk around the block a few times before a long set. And it helps, I think it helps clear their mind. But hey, maybe they're smoking a little something too, which let me just address that. There are some people who will like to smoke a little something or drink a little something before a show. No shade, no shame. But I have had some students, improv students, who asked if they should have a drink to calm their nerves before a show. And I always discourage it because I don't think you should associate calming your nerves with drinking because, you know, maybe one shot does it, but then you build up a tolerance and now you have to have 2 shots and 3 shots. And now you have a serious drinking problem. And that has happened. Mitch Hedberg is someone who would drink like a fifth before he did a 5-minute spot on Letterman. He did that. And he also did it so much that he knew when it would hit just right so he could time it. And that's dangerous. And I don't suggest doing that. But everything in moderation and drink responsibly and, toke responsibly. If you do that on your walk, that's you. Not telling anybody what to do, just making some suggestions here. A walk can clear your head. The last thing I'll mention here that you can do for your mind is just go over your lines, go over your set. But within reason, Okay? Don't pour over it in such a way that it's actually just making you more nervous. I had an experience like this before the first time I did a play, and a night where a bunch of friends and like my whole family came out. I was backstage before the show. This wasn't even opening night. And I was backstage before my entrance, and I was like, okay, I do this and I say this, and then my line is that. And I was just like, I kept just doing that over and over. And right before I was to walk out, when I was standing outside the door, I was like, wait, I'm just being nervous. I know my lines. I just like pep talked myself. I was like, you know this. Don't worry. You know your lines. So I just stopped and had a great show. So don't go over your lines. I guess the note here is don't like pour over your lines or your set out of nervousness. Go over it just so you can confirm and then stop and tell yourself you know this because you know it. And just do something that calms you, something that centers you. Hey, meditating helps with that. All right, the other thing we'll talk about in this episode is what you can do for the body before a show. You got to limber up. You got to loosen things up so you can do vocal exercises. Singers know it's a must before a show, obviously, but other performers who speak in their shows may not be doing this, but hey, it's good to do. Vocal exercises include things like stretching the jaw out, stretching the face out, shaking the face out. All that's good, but then you have those verbal exercises that you may or may not have heard people talk about. Those are things like lily lallick, or gutaba, buggita, all that kind of stuff, those weird phrases. But then there are also some other phrases like Danny Davis did a dastardly deed, or red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather, red leather, over and over and over again. These sort of things get you to enunciate more. You've got to do that stuff. And also doing some things that can help you project more. There's one where you go, huh, 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 from the diaphragm. So you're just getting that worked out. And all these things, they stretch your vocal cords, your throat. They really help you to project and be heard and understood by the audience, your scene partners. All of that is actually really crucial. So if you're not doing any of that before even a stand-up show, I really encourage you doing that. The other thing I would encourage you to do that involves stretching is stretching your body. So when we interviewed Willie Appleman on the podcast, I talked about how I noticed he was stretching before a show. And when I saw him perform previously, I thought he was so good and he used his body so well. And it's because he's intentionally stretching his body before a show. And this helps in a couple of ways. For one, when the body is stiff, then when you try to use it, it's not going to flow as well. And that's going to hinder you as a performer. But also, you are connecting your mind with your body because you are consciously considering using it because you are stretching it. Does that make sense? Like if you were taking the time to go, oh, gotta stretch so I can use my body, that makes your body more front of brain. So you will now use your body more. You will think to use your body more than you would have had you not consciously thought about stretching it so that you can use it. So it really is twofold in a way, how it benefits you to stretch. Not only does it make your body easier to use, but also remind you, hey, use your body. This is visual performance. They need to see you move. They need to see you utilize your body to help communicate what you're trying to communicate. So use your body, but stretch it first so you don't pull something while you're up there. I'm not expecting you to pull something, but I do think doing that sort of thing will help you open your body up, open your mind up, and do some of your best work. I hope these tips help you out. Thanks so much for listening to this mini episode. All episodes of the podcast are available wherever you get podcasts. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at There It Is Pod, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at There It Is, and follow me on Instagram and Threads at Jason Farr Picks. Also subscribe to our comedy lifestyle newsletter and support us if you can. We have a Patreon and a PayPal. Go to thereitispod.com for newsletter and support info. Links in bio. Until next time, be good to each other. It's a moral imperative.
The music for the theme song was created by Neil Brooks. The rap was written and performed by Nick Acevedo. The logo for There It Is was created by Jeff Prater. The There It Is podcast is produced by Jason Farr.